Hi, welcome back to Mom Cooks and Gardens. This morning I wanted to talk a little bit about saving money in the garden. I do love to troll the clearance racks at the garden center stores. Maybe once every couple weeks, pop in and take a look at what they have. A lot of times the flowers will stop blooming, and once the flowers fade, those plants end up on the clearance rack and you can pick them up for just a couple dollars compared to excuse me, compared to what you would pay for like a brand new thriving plant. Sometimes they're miswatered, sometimes they're just past their prime, or they've been broken in transport. I'll show you a great example of this. I had been hunting for some oak leaf hydrangea and was not finding it anywhere. And at the end of the season, the shrubs over at Home Depot had gone 40% off, and they had a clearance rack, and I found this beautiful oak leaf hydrangea. You can see he's thriving really well, but when I brought him home, he was only like 2 or 3 tiny sticks. He had no foliage, about 2/3 of the way down. His flowers were all browned. I wasn't sure if he would make it, but originally he would have cost $65 and I paid $7.19 for him. I managed to pick up 3 others. So over here you can see his brother down there is doing well. He's almost as tall as me. He's got some beautiful panicles on him. And up here on the top of the hill, I planted another 2. And they are thriving as well. So again, $7 a bush, which normally would have been $60 a bush. I just happened to hit the sale at just the right time, and I'm thrilled. Now, I used to be one of those people who said, I'm not going to waste my money because no doubt I'm not going to take care of this the way it should be. And I wanted to give any plant that I put in my garden the best chance at surviving. But I have found that, most plants will survive transplant shock, even if they're in bad condition. So if it's only a couple dollars, it's worth taking a shot with them. Now, this morning I am cleaning up these daylilies. I wanted a soft border to go at the top of the hill. I'll show it to you real quick. So you can see we used some logs at the top of the hill to map out the borders of the garden bed up there. And right across this top ridge, I want to put just a sort of like a hedgerow of the orange daylily. They bloom from mid-spring through the summer. This particular brand is called Stella. It's got this orangey yellow, and it really does bloom 3/4 of the season. Here's one that's blooming. You can see him. He's just a beautiful little color. But yeah, these were on the clearance rack. I think I paid $2 a piece for them, and I bought an entire flat, so I think I got 10 plants in all, and I think it'll make a really nice border. So I'll show you what I'm doing right now. These I've cleaned up. I'm watering them and soaking them so that they will have the best chance, and I've pulled all the dead foliage off. And I'm going to put them back into the flat so I can transport them up to the top. They've had a good 10 minutes of soaking, so I feel like they're pretty thoroughly watered. Get them back into their thing. And I'll show you here. Grab one out. Now you can see how ragged he looks. This one actually had some flowers on it, so I thought he would be a good guy to take a chance on. So basically, I'm just gonna pull off these brown dead shoots. And some of the broken ones. You could even trim these back about 4 or 5 inches tall, but there's a lot of really nice green foliage here, so I don't think we need to go that far. Just pulling out the dead stuff so it doesn't look so trashy. It'll also let me see more clearly if they start to struggle up there on that ridge because of the sun. Like if they're not getting enough water. If I start off with mostly green plants, I'll be able to see any curling or drying leaves. It's another reason to clean them off. So I'm getting ready to prep this little guy that came from the clearance rack. You can see he's got a lot of dead leaves and such. So I'm just gonna go through and pull them. They come out fairly easily because they're basically dried. It won't be hard to remove those dead leaves and clean them up. And this way, once we get them in the ground, if they start to struggle, and we'll notice it because we'll see some new browning leaves and we'll be able to keep them watered so that they transplant well. These guys may or may not flower for a few months because they'll be busy spreading roots and recovering from the stress. But you know, daylilies are one of those things I'm not afraid to take a chance on because they're very forgiving. They do well in poor soil, they do well in full sun, and they transplant really well, they divide really well. So they're just great to have in the garden. And depending on the variety, this one is Stella, they bloom nearly all summer long. All right, so that's him. He looks pretty good now, right? Now I am partial to some of those like homestead orange lilies that you see on the side of the road, but they can become quite invasive. They were brought here from Europe and they've escaped cultivation and they kind of inhabit almost every roadside in South Jersey. So while I love them, they only bloom for about a day, they fade, they only bloom in June. They kind of put on a beautiful show while they last, but they don't last long. This variety blooms all summer long. So think about that when you choose the plants for your yard. Make sure that you're choosing stuff that isn't just spring blooming or just fall blooming, but you want to kind of pick a variety of color and timing so that you have color in your garden all year long. Okay, so here we are at the top of the hill. And right around here is where we're going to put this hedge of daylilies in, just to give some screening so that these logs aren't as visible from the street. And they'll kind of make a nice crest and cascade down onto the hill. And they'll look really nice when you look past the lavender hedge and you see these bright yellow flowers up here. So I think they'll be really pretty and they'll make a nice border. All right, so I've got the bed prepared. I've got all the grass and the weeds, and I dug some wisteria up, and next I'm going to lay down some paper and plant the daylilies. All right, so we have finished prepping the bed. I'm gonna run down and grab those daylilies and we're going to plant them. I was going to use paper to hold down the weeds, but I have found that using paper on a slope like this doesn't work out well. The straw doesn't have anything to grip, and it tends to slide off and exposes the paper. So I'm going to forego the paper, and instead I'm going to use some preen to keep weeds from growing back. I think we should make out pretty okay with that. So I'm going to go grab the preen. I'm going to measure out my holes. Daylilies, at least this particular variety, they say to plant 18 to 24 inches apart. I'm going to see how far that takes us. I may leave a break and do like 3 in a row and leave a space, and then maybe plant some purple cone flowers. That might be cute. But yeah, I'll measure it out and see what I got.
Found this little bulb sitting here. What do you think it goes to? We'll try to find out later. Okay, so like 2 weeks ago, Mom was filming. She was standing right around here. She was separating daylilies, watering them, talking about saving money in the garden. I was going through the videos. I'm starting to learn how to edit, and I was enjoying it, and then all of a sudden it stops. And later it was because she was helping me work on my garage, and she never got back to filming, but she did complete everything. It was hot. It was really hot that day. So we're gonna go up and wrap up what she was doing up here. Oh shoot, I gotta get water in this thing. I don't even know where all the hookups are for water and everything up here. So she was working over here, and I have to mow this hill, and she was emphatic that I not mow it all the way to the edge. Now I know why. She doesn't want me to kill her plants. So she was digging this out the other day, and so she took care of that, and then she said that putting paper down doesn't work on the slopes because it slides and it doesn't give the straw. She uses straw in lieu of mulch, anything to grab onto, and it starts to slide down the hill. So she was transferring these daylilies, not the kind that are an invasive species, although I like them, the orange ones that are typical to New Jersey roadsides. She has this other species right here. So she planted these. She put preen down to prevent weed growth between those pellets. She bordered everything, or contrasted everything with these cone flowers. And Lily. She bought these on discount, I think she said, and then she split them. And then as a bellwether, she talked about cutting off the sorry for the noise, I'm not using the mics. She cut off the brown leaves, that way from down the hill at the house. If she looks up and she sees brown, she knows they're baking in the sun and need even more water. We're trying to set up passive watering systems where we don't have to use tap water, but we're not there yet. I don't know what the heck that thing is. And then you can see the graying of the straw. I always would say hay. Hay's edible, straws for bedding. I guess they separate the edible parts out. What's that? Oh, sorry. That'll get you demonetized. So we buy this in 21. It comes 21 to a bundle, and we put it in the truck down there. Loads it down a little bit. It's big, but having an 8-foot bed truck, boy, is really a good thing. But we don't use mulch here, we use straw. And it has all the benefits of mulch, but it's not introducing any chemicals. You don't, there's not stuff in there that you don't want, because you don't always know what goes into what other people threw in. But she uses that throughout the garden, and I love the look of it. It's my second favorite to, oh. Oh boy. My favorite is the smell of the pine needles down in South Carolina, but barring that, yeah, this stuff's pretty cool. And people like it when they walk by the house. So if you're near a local farm, buy it. And if you buy it in bulk, it's cheaper. So you can see it's starting to run off here, so she probably needs to throw another batch down. She thinks that we have enough for this season, but my eyeballs are telling me that we should probably use the remaining 5 bales that we have and then call it a day. I don't know. She has a plan. She's forgotten more about gardening than I'll ever know. But here's where we are, end of June 2024. She really kind of made our house a home when she came into my life. Pretty cool. Very lucky to have her. All right, if you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. No one ever leaves comments. Even, you know, say whatever you got to say. But it helps the channel. It doesn't cost you a thing. We appreciate you watching very much. There's a robin going after berries. Let's see. Let's try to get a peek. What's that robin doing? It's eating her blueberries, and she actually doesn't care. She's very happy. There we go. They're not even raw. They're not even ripe yet. Come on. Bye. All right. Sorry. That's it for now. Thanks. P.S. I have to mow this hill now. I tried doing it with the axial mower. It wasn't working, so I'm going to get the Ryobi electric out with a self-propelled feature. It'll make short work of it. It's kind of like holding on to an electric radio-controlled dune buggy. It just rips and tears, you know, the traction. It's pretty cool. All right, thanks.